"I need space to find myself," she said after 8 years together. So when she emptied our house and street all my uncle's tools, I built a business creating custom furniture for children of divorce that made her realize what she really threw away. I never thought I would be the guy posting one of these stories. But here I am. I am Travis, 29. Though most people call me Tank, nickname from my high school football days that stuck around. I co-own an auto repair shop in Wisconsin that I inherited from my Uncle Stan when he passed 5 years ago. I work on anything with an engine, but specialize in transmission rebuilds. I met Celeste, 27, 8 years ago when she brought in her Chevy with transmission issues. She was still in college then, studying business. I fixed her car for cost of parts. Only, yeah, I know. Rookie move and asked her out after. We clicked immediately. She is smart, analytical, and had this way of looking at things that made sense to my mechanical brain. Within a year, we were living together in my small apartment above the garage. I am not the flowery words type of guy, but I have always believed in showing love through actions. When Celeste mentioned wanting a house with a yard someday, I started putting aside money from every paycheck. When her car acted up, I would stay late at the shop fixing it. When she complained about the apartment being too small, I built custom storage solutions for every room. That is just how I was raised. You take care of the people you love. 3 years ago, we found a fixer-upper house at a good price. The place needed serious work foundation issues, outdated electrical, a roof on its last legs, but the location was perfect. Near both our jobs and with a yard big enough for the future we had talked about. I took out a loan for the down payment and spent every weekend and evening for 2 years renovating that place. New roof, rewired the whole house, rebuilt the kitchen from scratch, refinished all the hardwood floors myself. Celeste picked out the colors and fixtures, and I made it happen. By last year, the house was finally how she wanted it. She had gotten a promotion at the insurance company where she works as a claims adjuster, and I had expanded the garage business with my partner Murph. Things were stable, good, even. We had talked about marriage a few times in theoretical terms, and I had started saving for a ring that was worthy of her. 3 months ago, Celeste told me she was pregnant. It wasn't planned, but after the initial shock, I was all in. Started converting the spare bedroom into a nursery right away, researching the safest cribs, planning how to baby-proof the house. I even designed a custom rocking chair and was halfway through building it. The pregnancy accelerated my timeline, and I decided it was time to propose properly. I planned everything meticulously. Celeste loves hiking at Copper Falls State Park, so I arranged for us to go there on a weekend in June. I had the ring, nothing flashy, but good quality, something that wouldn't catch on things while she worked. I had rehearsed what I was going to say, which isn't easy for a guy like me who is better with torque wrenches than words. A week before the planned proposal, Celeste mentioned her college roommate was organizing a reunion trip to Aspen. It was last minute, but she really wanted to go. I encouraged her to take the trip. We had been working hard. Her with the pregnancy fatigue and me with the nursery prep. The proposal could wait another few weeks. She left on a Friday, seemed excited but normal. We texted regularly the first 2 days. By Monday, her messages became sporadic. Tuesday, nothing at all. I called that night, concerned, but it went straight to voicemail. I told myself the reception in the mountains was probably bad. Wednesday night, she finally called. As soon as I heard her voice, I knew something was wrong. She sounded distant, almost like a stranger. She said we needed to talk when she got back, but that she needed space to think. I asked if everything was okay with the pregnancy, and she assured me it was. When I pressed about what was going on, she just repeated that she needed time to think about what she really wanted. I barely slept the rest of the week. Threw myself into work, rebuilding a classic Mustang transmission that Murph had been bugging me to help with. Anything to keep my hands busy and my mind off worst-case scenarios. Celeste was scheduled to fly back Saturday afternoon. I cleaned the house top to bottom, thought maybe I would cook her favorite meal, try to reconnect. At 4 p.m., I got a text saying she wasn't coming home yet. She had decided to stay in Colorado a bit longer. No explanation of how long, no details about why. By Monday, I was sick with worry. Called her parents, who seemed confused. They thought she was back home with me. Called some of her college friends who were on the trip. Most didn't pick up, and the one who did gave vague non-answers before quickly ending the call. Finally, Wednesday morning, almost 2 weeks after she had left, Celeste called. She told me she wasn't coming back. Not to the house, not to our relationship, not to Wisconsin at all. She would met someone on the trip, a ski instructor named Delaney, and had never felt this kind of connection before. I couldn't process what I was hearing. "What about the baby?" I asked. She said she still planned to have it, that we would work out the details of co-parenting. When I reminded her about our 8 years together, the house I would rebuild for her, the life we had planned, she said the words I cannot get out of my head. "I built you everything you wanted." The conversation ended with her saying she would arrange to come get her things soon, and that she would stay with her parents when she returned to town. I sat on our front porch for hours after that call, staring at the garden boxes I had built last spring because she wanted to grow tomatoes. Murph came by that evening. I had missed my shift and wasn't answering calls. He listened to the whole story, didn't offer advice, just handed me a beer and sat with me in silence. "That is the kind of friend he is." Before leaving, he said, "Tank, you didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes engines seize up no matter how well you maintain them. It has been 4 days since that call. I have been sleeping at the garage, cannot stand being in the empty house. I know I need to think about the legal aspects of the baby situation. But right now, I am just trying to make it through each day." The engagement ring sits in my toolbox, alongside the half-finished rocking chair plans. I am not sure what I am looking for here. Advice, maybe, or just to put this somewhere that isn't the inside of my head. Has anyone dealt with something like this? How do you rebuild when someone tears down everything you spent years building? Edit. Thanks for all the comments and support. Several people asked if I am the biological father. And yes, the timing lines up. I had a vasectomy scheduled for next month, actually. Guess I should cancel that. And to those suggesting I change the locks, I will not do that. Half the house is technically hers, even if I did all the work on it. I am not looking to make this uglier than it already is. Update 1, sorry for the delay in updating. My laptop died last week and I have been working overtime at the garage to keep my mind off things. Typing this from my phone now, so excuse any typos. A lot has happened since my last post. About 3 days after I wrote it, Celeste texted saying she was coming to get her things. She asked if I could not be there to avoid making it harder than it needed to be. Part of me wanted to refuse it as my house too. After all, but another part couldn't face seeing her. So I agreed. Told her I would be at the garage all day Saturday. I left early that morning, spent the day helping Murph with a '67 Camaro restoration we had been working on for a client. Kept my phone in my locker. Didn't want to see any messages from her. Around 7 p.m., I figured it was safe to head home. When I pulled into the driveway, there was a rental moving truck just leaving. I caught a glimpse of Celeste in the passenger seat, but couldn't see who was driving. Walking into the house felt like taking a punch to the gut. I expected her to take her clothes, personal items, maybe some of the furniture we had bought together. What I didn't expect was for her to take things that were unmistakably mine, things that couldn't possibly be confused as joint property. The entire wall of tools in the garage gone. These weren't just any tools. Most were handed down from my Uncle Stan, the man who taught me everything about being a mechanic, about being a man. Some of those tools were 40+ years old, kept in perfect condition. I had organized that wall myself, built the custom cabinets for each specialty tool. The collection of classic car repair manuals my uncle had spent decades assembling gone. The custom coffee table I had built from an engine block for our first anniversary gone. The grandfather clock I had restored piece by piece as a surprise for her birthday last year gone. Even the boxes of family photos I would meticulously organized and labeled after my mom died 3 years ago gone. What would she even want with those? They are pictures of my family. The nursery I had started working on was stripped bare. Not just the crib I had bought, but the custom shelving I had installed. The handmade mobile I had been working on with little metal cars and planes hanging from it all gone. But here is what really got me. She took the half-finished rocking chair I was building. It wasn't even functional yet, just a frame with some of the joinery completed. Why take that? It is like she deliberately chose things that would hurt the most to lose. I sat down in the middle of the living room floor, surrounded by empty spaces where my life used to be, and called Murph. He came right over, took one look around, and said, "This isn't right, Tank. This isn't legal." We tried calling Celeste straight to voicemail. Tried her parents, who seemed genuinely shocked when Murph described what she had taken. They said she had stayed with them for 2 days but had flown back to Colorado that morning. According to them, she had only mentioned taking her personal items. Nothing about my tools or family photos. The next day, Sunday, I filed a police report. The officer was sympathetic but not particularly hopeful, because Celeste and I had lived together for years and shared the house. Determining what legally belonged to whom would be complicated. He said I could pursue civil action, but without a detailed inventory and proof of ownership for each item. It would be an uphill battle. I spent that night making a list of everything missing. The tools alone would cost thousands to replace, but the sentimental value is what really matters. Some of those tools had my uncle's initials carved into the handles. The manuals had his handwritten notes in the margins. Little tricks and shortcuts he had discovered over decades of working on cars. Monday morning, I finally got a text from Celeste. No apology, no explanation for taking my things. Just, "We will need to discuss child support and custody arrangements soon. My lawyer will be in touch." I am not usually angry. I fix problems rather than rage about them. But her text about child support with no mention of what she had taken broke something in me. I left her a heated voicemail demanding the return of my family heirlooms and tools, saying she could keep everything else. An hour later, Delaney called. The ski instructor introduced himself, telling me to stop harassing Celeste. When I asked if he knew she was pregnant with my child, he paused before dismissing it as between Celeste and me. He claimed she had told him everything was jointly owned and she would paid for most of it with her higher insurance salary. Bullshit. While she made slightly more on paper, every spare cent I had went into renovating our house, saving thousands in labor costs. My tools were never joint property. They are my livelihood and heritage. When Delaney hung up telling me to be a man and let Celeste be happy, I almost put my fist through the wall. Instead, I consulted a property attorney who outlined my limited options: a formal demand letter, an expensive civil suit, parental mediation, or direct negotiation. Each path meant sacrificing something: time, money, dignity, or my home. I tried her parents first, but Michael called back frustrated. Celeste had claimed everything was hers too, and she needed to sell things. When pressed about my family photos, she hung up on him. I have been sleeping at the garage since the house feels like a crime scene. I am working 16-hour days. Murph warns I will burn out, but it beats facing my thoughts. With engines, I at least know what is broken and how to fix it. Beyond the anger, there is something deeper keeping me up. Was there something I failed to build? Something she needed that I missed? 8 years pouring myself into creating the perfect life, yet it wasn't enough. My sister called from Chicago offering to visit. I declined. Terrible company these days. She left me with words that keep echoing. "Tank, you cannot fix people like you fix cars. Sometimes they are running on programs you didn't install and cannot access. I don't know what is coming next. The lawyers will do their thing. Maybe I will get my uncle's tools back. Maybe I will not. Maybe I will be a weekend dad to a kid who lives in Colorado with a mom who thinks I am disposable and a stepdad who tells me to be a man about it. For now, I am just taking it one oil change at a time. One transmission rebuild. One foot in front of the other. I will update when there is news about the legal situation, or if I hear from Celeste. Thanks for listening. Reddit. Sometimes it helps just to put the words somewhere outside my own head. Update 2. It has been about a month since my last update. I have been putting off writing this because processing everything has been complicated. But I think I owe you all an update, since so many of you have reached out with advice and support. My property claim hit a roadblock immediately without receipts, proving the tools were gifts from my uncle. It is just my word against Celeste's. The family photos are a clearer case, but their monetary value is minimal, so the lawyer advised focusing on the tools. While dealing with the legal issues, Aaron, a mutual friend from the Colorado trip, asked to meet, saying there were things I should know. I was hesitant since she and Celeste were always closer, but curiosity won out. What Aaron revealed changed everything. This Delaney guy wasn't why Celeste left, he was merely a symptom. Apparently, Celeste had been having doubts for over a year before the trip, not about me specifically, but about the life she felt had been built around her. Aaron said Celeste had confided months ago that she felt trapped by our relationship, our house, and the expectations of marriage and family. The pregnancy only intensified these feelings. She never wanted to be a claims adjuster, Aaron explained. That was just the practical choice after college. What she really wanted was to study art therapy, but didn't think it was viable. This floored me. In 8 years, Celeste had mentioned liking art, but never once expressed wanting it as a career. The Colorado trip was meant to be her thinking space before the baby arrived. Seeing college friends pursuing creative careers while she felt trapped apparently triggered something profound. Delaney, with his seasonal lifestyle between ski resorts and surf towns, represented a freedom she had never imagined for herself. The pregnancy was her breaking point. Aaron continued. She felt if she didn't change now, she never would. The baby would lock her into this life permanently. Aaron seemed uncomfortable but insisted I should know it wasn't about me personally. Celeste felt she had been living someone else's script rather than writing her own. When I asked about my tools and photos, Aaron looked genuinely confused. She said Celeste had only mentioned taking her personal belongings. Hearing what else she had taken, Aaron appeared shocked and promised to speak with her, though I wasn't hopeful. A week later, I received an email from Celeste, first direct contact since her lawyer text. Though rambling at points, it confirmed Aaron's account. She described feeling on autopilot since college, making expected rather than desired choices. The pregnancy made her realize she might pass this pattern to another generation. She apologized for her exit strategy, but not for leaving. I need to discover who I am outside of a relationship or practical career for myself and our baby. I want to mother authentically, not just go through motions. She had ended things with Delaney, a catalyst, not a destination, and was moving to Portland for art therapy studies, starting in her second trimester with her parents' financial support. Only at the end did she address my stolen property. I know you are upset about the tools and other things. I felt entitled to them because of how much I had invested in our relationship. That was wrong. I am sorry. Everything's in storage, and I will arrange their return. I stared at that email for hours, processing mixed emotions, relief at finally understanding, fury she couldn't have shared these feelings before such a destructive exit, and sadness that someone I thought I knew had been suffocating in the life we had built. I wrote back briefly, requesting my tools and photos be returned and mentioning we needed to discuss co-parenting. I avoided addressing her feelings or new life plans. Maybe that makes me a coward, but I couldn't face it yet. 2 days later, a storage facility called. Celeste had paid for a unit in my name where I found everything she had taken: tools, manuals, photos, even the unfinished rocking chair. Only the jointly purchased items were missing, which I had never contested. Moving everything home that Saturday, I felt a weight lift as I arranged my uncle's tools on the garage wall. Having these connections to my past, to the man who raised me after my dad left, made me feel grounded again. I met with a family lawyer the next week about custody between Wisconsin and Oregon. We drafted an agreement prioritizing our child's needs while acknowledging the distance challenges. Throughout this, I have reflected on what kind of father I want to be. Uncle Stan taught me that being a man meant showing up and creating, not destroying, but he wasn't big on expressing feelings, and neither am I. I wonder if that is why Celeste never shared her feelings. Was I so focused on building physical things that I missed the emotional foundation? I have started building again, this time a portable crib for my Portland visits. It feels right to create something that connects rather than contains. Murph checks on me daily, having been through his own divorce. You are handling this better than I did, he said. I spent a year angry. You are already building something new from the wreckage. I am not sure that is true. Some days the hurt overwhelms me when I see the custom kitchen cabinets and deck I built for a future that will not happen. But I remember I am not a destroyer. I am a builder. Always have been. Celeste and I have a video call next week to discuss the custody arrangement my lawyer drafted. It will be our first face-to-face since she left nearly 3 months ago. I am nervous, but ready to focus on the practical aspects of co-parenting. I may never fully understand her choices or heal completely, but my child deserves parents who can communicate respectfully. The house is quiet now, except for Uncle Stan's old radio playing classic rock while I work. I am taking it day by day, fixing what can be fixed, rebuilding what needs to be rebuilt, accepting some things will never be the same, whatever path my child follows. With an art therapist mother in Portland or a mechanic father in Wisconsin, I want them to feel free to choose their own way, to never feel trapped by others' expectations like their mother did, to know you can change direction without destroying everything in your wake. That is the lesson I am trying to extract from all this. I will update after the baby's born or if anything changes with custody. Thank you all for your support. It has meant more than you know. Final update. It has been 2 years since my last update, and looking back at those early posts feels like reading about someone else's life. After receiving so many messages asking how things turned out, I figured I owe you all some closure. My daughter, Emily Grace Kowalski, is now 18 months old. She has Celeste's eyes and smile, but my focused expression when figuring things out. She splits time between Portland and Wisconsin, currently 3 weeks with each of us, with video calls on off days. The travel is exhausting but worth it to be a present father. Co-parenting with Celeste has evolved from those tense early months. When Emily was 3 months old and wouldn't stop crying during a Portland visit, Celeste and I spent a sleepless night taking turns walking her. Something shifted that night, not forgiveness exactly, but recognition that we are in this together regardless of our past. Celeste finished her art therapy degree and works at a children's hospital now. She seems genuinely happy in a way she never did with me. Sometimes I wonder if I could have seen the signs earlier. Other times I recognize her journey was one she needed to take alone. Delaney is long gone. Just as Celeste predicted, he was more symbol than relationship. She is now dating an art professor who is stable, good with Emily, and respectful of my role. We have even managed a few cordial dinners during handoffs. As for me, I haven't jumped back into dating. Some of the guys at the garage have tried setting me up, but between running the business, my time with Emily, and the custom furniture I have been building on the side, there hasn't been much room for it. I am not closed to the idea, but I am not searching either. The business has thrived, Murph, and I expanded the garage with a dedicated restoration space, hired 2 mechanics and a local apprentice who reminds me of my younger self. Teaching him has become surprisingly fulfilling. I finally put the house on the market. I stayed too long, surrounded by ghosts of collapsed plans. When Emily started visiting, I realized she needed a fresh start, not a shrine to what might have been. My new place near the garage has a workshop where I build things for her future. I finished that rocking chair from before everything fell apart. It sits in Emily's room alongside a matching miniature one for her dolls. She rocks them while I rock her, both in perfect rhythm. I tell her stories about Uncle Stan and his tools, preparing for when she is old enough to join me in the workshop. What began as that portable crib has unexpectedly become a side business. After posting photos online, I started receiving requests from other long-distance parents. Now I craft specialized furniture for families in transition, convertible cribs, collapsible storage solutions, adjustable rockers. There is something healing about creating pieces designed to evolve and adapt, acknowledging change as inevitable rather than fighting it. The pain still surfaces occasionally when Emily mimics Celeste's expressions, when I see intact families at the park, when I pass jewelry stores. But these moments are balanced by new joys. Emily falling asleep on my chest, her learning tool names, her first data on video call that Celeste made sure I didn't miss. I have learned I am still a builder. But now understand, not everything needs to be permanent. Sometimes the most beautiful creations are temporary by design. Celeste and I aren't friends, but we are effective co-parenting partners who acknowledge our mutual failures, her unexpressed desires. My fixing everything except what really mattered. We weren't villains, just 2 people who stopped seeing each other clearly. This isn't the life I meticulously planned, but it has its own beauty and purpose. Emily will grow understanding her parents made difficult choices while keeping her needs central. Turns out the best thing I ever built wasn't the life I planned with Celeste. It was learning I could survive when everything I built got torn down. My daughter's going to know her dad as someone who creates, not someone who clings. And maybe she will never feel like love is a cage.